Well, you asked me about doing away with the cents. If you do away with the cents, you've done away with the cents. Nobody has cents anymore.
So what happened? You take a piece of steel and you hang down the die.
So this kind of argument's been going on since the beginning of our coinage here in the States.
If you take the penny out of the equation, then you have to take and round off everything to zeros. You follow me? And then if you wind up having tax on top of it, you have to readjust all your tax programs. So the penny, to take that out of the equation, is just not going to happen. Even though it takes more than a penny to make one, they just won't phase it out, in my opinion.
So as of August 9th, 2017, it would take almost 330,000 pennies to equal one Bitcoin. So that means one penny is worth, I think, 0.000003 Bitcoin. I'm Brian Patrick Iha. I'm a journalist, primarily of technology and business. I recently published a book called How Money Got Free, Bitcoin and the Fight for the Future of Finance, which is the definitive narrative account of the rise of Bitcoin and its implications for the world, told through the eyes and actions of its pioneers. Cryptocurrency arose from radical ideas about how money should work in the internet age. Bitcoin's creator, who went by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, he wanted to disrupt what he saw as the broken political and financial system that had contributed to the financial crisis. He wanted to allow people to be their own banks and to transact with each other anywhere in the world without needing the permission of governments or banks or payments companies. Now, as for how Bitcoin has grown since then, when it debuted in January 2009, Bitcoin was worth essentially zero. Today, August 9th, 2017, it's worth about $3,300, and the value of all Bitcoins in existence are worth more than $54 billion. Second, the number of cryptocurrencies out there. Bitcoin was the first, and now there are hundreds of these. Third, the users. A report out of Cambridge University this past April found that the number of cryptocurrency users worldwide now equals the population of small countries, which is dramatic growth in less than a decade. There are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, and that's not even enough for every millionaire in the United States to just have one Bitcoin of their own. Now, Bitcoin is divisible down to 8 decimal places, but you can think if the demand for these things continues to grow, if people continue to perceive their value as a store of wealth, but yet there's not really enough to go around in a sense, that seems to imply perhaps that the tremendous growth we've seen in the price may be only the beginning. Personally, I think the invention of Bitcoin has made it easier to contemplate moving toward a cashless society, which would have some good effects and some bad effects. What's interesting to me is that after the invention of Bitcoin, in recent years, other cryptocurrencies have been invented that are meant to be even more private, perhaps even more anonymous than Bitcoin, and this may become necessary if we no longer have cash as a way to transact privately with each other. We may need a digital currency to take the place of that, but of course it'll have even more utility because you can spend it on the internet and you can send it to someone on the other side of the world.
Star in the middle. You know, the 7 stars is mean the 7 provinces we have in this country. And also have 2 oceans, you know, the Pacific Ocean in one side and the Atlantic Ocean in another side. You also have a big boat. You know, the big boat is grabbed coffee because Costa Rica was in the beginning of the century, in the 19th, was important coffee exportation to Europe. And also you see mountains is represent our rainforests. And also to see the Costa Rica flags there is represent our independence. We are in the Caribbean part of Costa Rica. We are in the middle of the rainforest in this area. We have between in the 80s to change to the 90s, we have changed our economy a little bit. and everything start to grow up. All price start to grow up so quickly, and the coins start to disappear. And big material of the colon start to disappear, and it's become to be really small and really tiny material. Like you can see, it's like a silver. I remember some people bite it and made it curve, you know, when in the teeth, because it's not like a plastic, but you don't feel like it's really big and enough, and it's nothing like you can buy with that. It's nothing. Actually, right now, I think it's something like, I don't know, like symbolic, because it's nothing like you can buy with that. You know, we don't have one colon anymore. We only have 5, 25, 50, 100, and 500. They're thinking they want to change the economy. And I don't know if they want to do something like revolution, you know, to give us 100 colones salary per month, and that way we can go back to the colones again, like happened in too many countries around the world. Like it's you know, the value of the economy start to grow up so quickly, and then one day you say, oh my God, you get 1 million colones per month, but you have to pay $500,000 for rent. No, that's so crazy. We changed. We give you 100 colones per month, and then you pay 25 per rent, and that way maybe we can use the columns again. This is 100 colones. For $1, they can pay you 5, 100, and 545. This means 5 coins like this plus 45 colones is $1. That's nothing.
Well, the thing is that the issue comes up every year is whether we need to abolish the penny or not. And because they're saying it's no longer profitable, that it's costing the mint more to make them than the penny is worth. Well, my response to you was that years ago, our pennies used to be made with actual copper. Nowadays, they're just made with almost pure zinc. So my whole point was, the issue that never, ever comes up is, why do these coins cost more to make? For years and years, we've had pennies. So why all of a sudden is everybody talking about abolishing the penny because it costs too much?
So this is a farm that we're on right now that my wife and I bought just about 20 years ago. We call it Little Penny Farm and Sanctuary. Little Penny Farm for obvious reasons, and Sanctuary because my wife is a veterinarian and she's always bringing home animals that no one else wants. My name is John Swiber, and I helped co-found the Pennymen in November 1991, and we manufacture and place our souvenir penny press machines. It could be national parks, state parks, any kind of tourist location, any destination place, museums, zoos, aquariums, anywhere where pretty much people go to visit is a viable candidate for us to build and place a machine. We are selective because we don't charge anything to our clients. We actually have to qualify the location, and we typically look for locations that have a minimum of 250,000 unique visitors per year. We have approximately just over 1,000 clients, and we have just over 2,000 machines. Obviously, some locations have more than one machine. Just with our company alone, over 25 million people will use our machines just in 2017 alone. It uses about 5,000 pounds of pressure per square inch to make the souvenir. And you roll it just out one time to make the souvenir. With the self-serve machine, where the customer puts their money in and they turn the crank themselves, with most of the machines, they turn it 6 to 8 times. And it's geared on about 1,200 to 1,500 pounds of pressure per square inch. But we do that so that even a 5-year-old may have to use 2 hands, but they can do it themselves. Whereas this machine, we know who's going to be rolling it out. So in fact, we make the machine so that on this side, the guest comes on this side and they get to catch them as they come out. So we make it interactive for them as well. Turn the handle, It's reshaping and restamping it all in just one motion. Inside the machine, whether it be an attended machine or a self-serve machine, there's two steel rolls. One of them that has pictures on them and one that does not have any pictures on them. So what happens is that inside the machine, the two rolls go against each other and the penny goes in between the two steel rolls. So when the penny goes in between and the handle's turned, the penny goes down and then the penny's elongated, it's reshaped and then restamped with the design that's on the steel roll. So there was a gentleman by the name of Angelo Rosado who was a very big and avid collector of elongated coins. He felt strongly that he wanted the numismatic society to respect and acknowledge elongated coins. So one of the things that he had done is he created an encyclopedia of elongated coins. So this little pamphlet of a book, the encyclopedia of the modern elongated, and he spent many years and he gathered together a lot of designs, and it's a great resource for anyone that has any interest about elongated coins. And it's a very thick book, but it's a fun book as well.
Oh, this is a good sample of this, where he developed a process on the back of the coin, so you could actually roll the coin and still see that it is a coin.
Yeah, that's cool. So explain a little bit more about what he did so that that would happen.
Well, that's a secret. My dad's name's Angelo Rosado. He was primarily a jeweler by trade, and he was very artistic, did a lot of painting, and then part of his expertise was in engraving. So he was an artist and an engraver. And then he developed an interest in collecting coins in the early 60s. Through his own coin collecting, he wanted to collect books about coins, and he ran across Daddy Dow's book on the elongated collector. And that sparked his interest, because then he knew that people actually did engravings and made the dies, and so he was very mechanically inclined, and so this is a total fascination. And the fact that he could have an artistic stamp, you know, and be a part of that process, I think was very exciting to him. That's what he spent 22 years in formulating all this information. I think his book is comprised of 49 rollers. He calls it the modern elongated because it went from 1960 to 1978. This is my father displaying the coins that he is rolling out. He's making elongated coins that are depicting scenes of New Milford, Connecticut. And he said he believes at this point he's the only roller in the world who personally produces every step in the process of making elongated coins, including the original artwork, the making of the die, and pressing of the coins. And here he's using a hand roller. My father always limited his editions, and he did things that were basically around the community, historical events. He did everything from the moon landing to Star Wars to Love, Our Father prayer, JFK. He did a coin for me personally. So, and then he would do it not only in the penny, but he would do it in the dime, quarter, half dollar. So he would do things in a series. And then it goes from the history, which is almost half the book, into the actual catalog, where he goes, you know, in alphabetical order of all the rollers, listing their coin, all the information about the coin, and then there's indexing and cross-referencing. He photographed all the coins, so he had to actually collect all the coins. So there's over 4,000 specimens of coins that he photographed. And then he learned about, I guess, book publishing. So he actually set the type for it. And when he took the photographs, he did them in halftone, so that when it would go to print, it was actually printed off of film. So it's a huge process just in how he made the book in itself. I think if he could make the paper, he would have done that. So And I think the proudest moment for my father was we went to this bookstore up in Bethlehem, Connecticut, and they had this big, gigantic volume, and it was the book from the Library of Congress. And he opened it up, and he said, "Here's my book." So he was very proud.
People would get more excited to collect Lincoln cents if they were going to end. It's true. I think suddenly, people already hoard pennies, and I think there would be a lot more hoarding of Lincoln cents if they were to end it.
I don't think it will actually change it at all. What will change, it won't change for the collectors. The collectors who have been doing it and always have been doing it, it's not going to change anything. It changes for the hoarders, for the speculators, because now they think that they're going to invest in a quantity of these pennies that they can take and sell at a later date for more money. And I don't think that'll happen. Besides the fact the penny is not copper anymore anyway, it's zinc with a copper coating. And so you have nothing.
I'm Andy Reed. Most people know me as Tip Reed, and I've lived in Carthage most part of my life. Grew up here, was associated, our family owned the Carthage Courier, and I grew up with the Carthage Courier until 1976, and my dad died and his partner had died earlier, and we sold the paper in 1976. But it was in the early 70s, if I'm not mistaken, when some of the first mining operations moved in the area and started mining. They took a lot of core samples all over the county. Trucks would come in, drilling equipment would come in, and they drilled core samples all over the county, and they probably helped to determine the best starting location. It's been a major financial influence on the county, not just the zinc, but the trucking industry, the equipment industry, the maintenance industry. From my knowledge, the value of zinc rises and falls. The first companies that came in, they probably exploited the wealth of the mine until it was no longer feasible, or for whatever extent, but they do close down. The mines close down, and it might be for a couple, 2 or 3 years at a time, if not more. But just like now, at this point, the mining operation is back open and it's operating again. And these are examples of the semi-precious stones that have come from the mining operations. And these are pieces that have been considered really nice examples. The Tennessee area and this area is so limestone, it's so rich in limestone, and with the abundance of quartz and the other minerals that are associated with limestone, you'll get this type of a gem, semi-precious gem, to whatever extent. You'll get this mixed in with the zinc. The people in the know, I think the people in the know that would have the best information on whether to keep the pennies or not. I'd say that whatever decision they make would be the best one. Yeah, and it's a thing where we'd probably hate to see it go, hate to see the penny disappear, but I think that it would evolve into a better situation. Whichever way it went, it would still be an okay situation.
If they were to discontinue the cent, there'd probably be a little rush at the beginning. People saying, "Oh, I better get some now before they all disappear." But just like anything else, in time, equal itself out. Like when Lady Di was killed by accident, all of her coins that had her image on it went way up for a while. Now you can buy them for a nominal fee. Same way when Pope Paul II died, everything went up temporarily. Everybody had to have it. Now you can buy them just like they were before. I feel the same way I have the cents. There'll be a little rush of people who want to buy the cents just because they're going to be going out of circulation. Then, as time passes, there'll just be another coin.
That gets the free line 7. It originally was Pitty, and people call him Pitty. It was originally from his grandmother, of course. It was something that she just stuck with him for, for the duration. So when he got to Memphis, they kind of branded it, the University of Memphis, I would say, they branded it and changed it to Penny or whatnot. And that's when the 1 cent symbol came available. Every people just took it and ran off with it or whatnot. And we just been, here we are. He created the little penny doll, the Penny Hardaway shoes, of course, that everyone knows about. One of the top selling shoes in the United States right now. Everything. He just branded it. They branded it at Memphis and changed it to Penny, and here we are, speaking of Penny Hardaway. I'm Lakeith Crawford, very much so familiar with Penny. Been around him majority of my life, 36 years old. I've been around him since I was 7, for the most part. A lot of people consider me as one of his personal assistants. The Celebrity Shop, I think it was established, about 5 years ago. A gentleman by the name of Chris Styles, that's Penny's personal barber. It was something that they created, decided to move it down here on Main Street, to basically bring more people in that comes in and visits, such as athletes, other celebrity people. That's why it's called Chris Styles Celebrity Barbershop, or more so Penny Hardaway Celebrity Barbershop. We love it here in Memphis. It's a great group of guys that works in here that represents Penny Hardaway brand very well. Watching this guy grow up to be who he is today, coming from our neighborhood and the way that we grew up, to basically, have nothing, living in poverty, dealing with gangs affiliation, dealing with so many different things, and he overcomes so much. And the great thing about him, once he made it, we knew our entire neighborhood made it or whatnot, and he definitely, led the way and paved the path, for a lot of people in Memphis, and more so in our community. I can go on and on. I can write my own book.
If I see a penny heads up, there's just some strange superstition that tells me to grab it. If I see one that's tails up, I always flip it over, because I'm sure the next person that sees it is going to find it, and they'll find it on heads. Maybe they'll pick it up. My name's Zach Fincher. I own Monolith Tattoo Company in Nashville, Tennessee. We've been open since 2013. The entryway in the front of the shop came to be as a result of our door not opening when we installed our new floors. We had to find a solution to that problem, and the pennies that we had found the years prior to building the shop seemed to be that solution. We took all the pennies, faced them all heads up, stuck them to the floor, and the rest is history. The installation process took us about 6 hours of one by one taking each penny, placing it heads up, facing the same direction. After we poured the clear coat, the last client of the day, around 9 p.m., happened to open the door and forget that there was epoxy there, leaving a giant footprint in the middle of it, which is still there to this day. Fortunately enough, we've been so busy that we haven't had a chance to pour a second coat of epoxy. It was a lot more expensive than we would have imagined. After we did it, we priced the tile equivalent, and the cost didn't really work out for us. So 10 or so rows of pennies that we have here were all ones that I'd found over the years that were on heads, and just considered it kind of a good luck, superstitious kind of thing, like kind of like a horseshoe over the door or something like that. It would definitely be sad to see them go. They've just always been there. They represent so much, but nothing at the same time. So the debate's definitely stands, but as far as I go, I really could go either way. As far as tattoos go, people typically stay away from pennies. The majority of the tattoos that we end up doing here are more in the Benjamin category, I guess you'd say.
Personally, I think there is other worth to the coin beyond the individual coin itself. So I hope that they keep on with the penny.
It's such a part of American life. It's going to be difficult because people have always collected cents. The funny thing is, I've seen people over the years toss pennies out, like they get pocket change, they throw the pennies on the ground like they're trash. And I'm one of those, if I see pennies on the ground, I'm going to pick them up. I always have. It just makes sense.
Talking about picking up pennies. So before we do anything, when you're walking down the street and you see a penny on the sidewalk, do you stop and pick it up?
No.
If I'm walking down the street and I see a penny, I probably wouldn't pick it up.
Sometimes.
I pick it up if it's tails up so that I can give it to a friend of mine for good luck.
Sometimes.
But not if it's heads up, because I don't feel like I'd need the good luck.
Why not?
I don't like having a bunch of pennies in my wallet that I can never do anything with.
I don't know. Kind of does the value isn't there, I guess.
If it's heads up.
Because pennies are money too. It's somebody left it on the street.
Gotcha. Just like picking it up, one after the other like that? All right, cool.
You'll 3, 2, okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Two, 3.
What about a quarter? That was mine.
4 and 5.
6, 7, 8.
9, 10.
11, 12, 13.
6. That's 6 so far.
14, 15.
16, 17.
Never make pockets big enough. Ever. Oh, that's 7, and that's 8.
18, 20, woo! 22, 24.
And 9, 10, and 11. It's 11 whole pennies.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I don't feel like I'm gonna find a big pile of them. If I found a big pile, I'd pick them all up. But if I just found one like every 100 yards or something, I probably still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think all money is valuable.
I mean, it just really depends on how long it takes for me to pick them all up, you know?
Ultimately, with me just kind of walking around picking up a penny whenever I saw it, I don't think it would make too much of a difference.
I would say, I mean, more likely just because it's, it's not a piece of trash on the ground. It's a penny. It does have a small value, but it has, it holds value.